Good evening and welcome back to Etown News. I'm Rosena Campana.
And I'm Lexi Benninger. Pride Party, commencement address, and more coming up after this.
Elizabethtown College has our own student-run radio station here in Steinman. Students in any year can join to be a DJ and there's no prior experience needed. We have many great DJs for this semester. To listen to our DJs, tune in on the radio or use the TuneIn app to listen to WWEC 88.3, the sound of Elizabethtown.
Another exciting speaker will visit campus this Friday. Historian and author Dr. Greg Egigan will visit Etown to discuss his latest book and his research about supernatural encounters. Egigan is a history and bioethics professor at Penn State University. His most recent research focused on supernatural phenomena, such as alien encounters and UFO sightings. His lecture will take place at 4 p.m. in Gibble Auditorium. The event is free and open to the public.
The Career Development Center is hosting an event for students in the health field. Careers in Science and Health is an upcoming networking event at Etown. It will take place next Wednesday from 3:30 to 4:30 in a location to be decided soon. There will be opportunities to connect with faculty, alumni, and employers in the industry. It will give students the chance to seek guidance in the field as graduation approaches for many. If you're interested in attending, you can sign up on Handshake using the link below.
Ring in the start of Pride Month with a night of fun hosted by Etown Our Bodies. The club is hosting a Pride kickoff event in the celebration of queer artists and culture this Saturday at 4 p.m. in Jane Lounge. The night will feature dancing, mocktails, and music from top artists like Chapel Roan, Charlie XCX, and more. There will also be raffle baskets featuring exciting prizes. Follow Etown Our Bodies on Instagram for updates on the event's prizes.
Commencement is just over a month away, and if you're a graduating senior, you have the opportunity to make your voice heard. The selection process for the commencement speaker has begun. Interested students can submit a fully developed speech to the class of 2026 using the link in their Instagram. The deadline to submit is today at noon. In-person auditions will begin on April 6th. This will be in front of a committee who will evaluate your presentation. Only one candidate will be chosen, so make sure your speech stands out. Now here's Ava Deeter with your weekly sports update.
Thanks, Lexi. Spring sports are already approaching the halfway point of the season as teams look to continue their strong starts. Tennis was back in action last Saturday following a month-long hiatus. They celebrated senior night against Moravian, but unfortunately both teams fell. The women got swept 7-0. Hannah Walker was the only one to win a set, but lost her next two against her opponent. They'll try to get back on track tomorrow when they travel to Wilkes. The men were able to win one of their matchups, but still lost 6-1. Stefano Billis was the lone Blue Jay winner, beating his opponents in 2 sets. They stand at 3-3 on the season as they prepare to also take on Wilkes tomorrow at 1. The men's lacrosse team picked up their second win of the season against Susquehanna last Saturday, beating the Riverhawks 11-2. Reese Levinson led the team with 4 goals, followed by Tristan Coleman with 3. Coleman also had 3 assists as well. Freshman goalie Ben Zaitz had 13 saves in goal while playing the full game. They improved to 2-7 as they host Scranton this Saturday. It was a tougher going for the women's team, who fell to Susquehanna 6-16. They trailed by 6 at halftime before getting outscored 5-1 in the third quarter. Drew Bridges had 2 goals and 5 ground balls to lead the offense. Alyssa Connor saved 10 of the 26 shots on goal, playing a full game in the box. They'll also take on Scranton tomorrow and hope to continue on the strong start to their season. Softball traveled to Carlisle for a doubleheader against the Dickinson Red Devils. Michaela Benner got the start on the mound for the first game and pitched 2 innings, allowing 3 runs. Lily Baldwin had 3 RBIs and 2 hits, followed by Maddie Reaver with 1. It wasn't quite enough as they fell 4-6. Things went much better in the second game as the Blue Jays took an 8-0 lead. They held on throughout to win the game 10-3. Hannah Long and Lexi O'Brien each had 3 hits. O'Brien also led the team with 4 RBIs. They'll take on Scranton this Saturday in another doubleheader. The baseball team improved to 11-4 after a big win against Drew last Sunday, 9-1. Justin Maricini pitched 7 innings to win his 3rd game of the season on the mound. Caden Schulte closed the game in the final 2 innings with 5 strikeouts. Nick Fiorini and Alex McLean led the offense with 2 hits and 2 RBIs each. Their hot start will be put to the test this weekend when they host Scranton for 3 games over Saturday and Sunday. Down the road in New Jersey, the men's volleyball team took on Rutgers Newark but fell 1-3. The Blue Jays won the first set but were unable to capitalize against the 13th-ranked team in the nation. Braden Ambrister had a team-high 11 kills. Aaron Gopineth was right behind him with 10. Leading the team in assists was Patrick Nyer with 15. The Blue Jays will take on Wilkes tonight, who they've beaten in their last 6 matchups. The Cincinnati Bengals are re-signing Joe Flacco to a 1-year contract. The 41-year-old quarterback was backup for Joe Burrow this year but ended up playing multiple games when he got injured. The contract is for $6 million but could be worth up to $9 million after incentives. He made his first ever Pro Bowl this past season after spending 18 years in the league. There was speculation that he wanted to be a starter this season, but that appears to have dwindled down. Mohamed Salah will be leaving his longtime club at the end of this season. It was reported earlier this week that the forward will not return to Liverpool despite having another year on his contract. This comes after Salah said that the club threw him under the bus just months ago in an interview. Salah has been one of the greatest players in Liverpool history and will exit as the 3rd highest scorer of all time for the club. He will be one of the most targeted soccer players in the world once he is officially a free agent. That's it for sports. Now over to Eric Rodriguez Jr. with the weather.
Thanks, Ava. Aaron J. Girvan here, filling in for Eric Rodriguez. Good news, Jays. Some mildly warm weather is finally on the way. Expect temperatures in the high 50s and low 60s for the most of the week. Today, Friday the 27th, calls for partly cloudy weather with a high of 53 and a chill early in the morning and a low of 30. Temperatures will drop Saturday, making it the coldest day of the week. Expect partly cloudy weather with a high of 47 and a low of 31. Sunday will also be partly cloudy with a high of 52 and a low of 35. Temperatures will get even warmer on Monday with a high of 57 and a low of 41. Tuesday calls for rain in the early morning hours. Expect a high of 63 and a low of 43. The rain will continue into Wednesday with a high of 58 and a low of 42. And finally, Thursday also calls for all-day showers. Expect a high of 60 and a low of 43. That's all for this week's Weather Watch. I'm Aaron J. Girvan. Now back to Rosena and Lexi in the studio.
Spanish authorities have ruled the death of a missing spring breaker as a likely accident. The body of James Gracie, a University of Alabama student, was found last week along the shore of Barcelona Beach. Gracie, who was last seen at a nightclub with his friends, was reported missing 2 days before the discovery. An autopsy is underway, but a spokesperson from regional police in Barcelona says all signs point to the death being accidental. Former reality TV stars Joseph and Kendra Duggar are facing serious criminal charges. Joseph Duggar was arrested last week on charges of inappropriate conduct with a minor under the age of 12. He is currently awaiting transfer from Arkansas to Florida, where the initial crime was committed. Authorities have now also charged his wife Kendra with multiple counts of endangering the welfare of a minor and false imprisonment. This is not the first time the Duggar family has faced such serious charges. Joseph's older brother, Joshua Duggar, was convicted on similar charges in 2020. Parts of Hawaii are recovering after devastating floods swept the island last weekend. The state was met with the worst flooding in over 20 years, causing massive damage to homes, schools, and hospitals. Hawaii Governor Josh Green said the damages could total up to $1 billion. More than 200 people were rescued from the rising waters, but no deaths or serious injuries have been reported. Officials are now worried about a century-old dam that is at risk of failing. The Waitatama Dam has been vulnerable for decades, but the recent floods have left it weaker than ever.
Bill Cosby will be paying one of his accusers $59.2 million after losing his court case. Donna Motsinger accused Cosby of sexual battery stemming from an incident in 1972. According to her lawsuit, she was invited by Cosby to attend one of his shows, but after taking what she thought was aspirin, she woke up hours later in her home unaware of what had happened. Cosby had denied these allegations. A spokesperson for the disgraced comedian said he was deeply saddened by the verdict. The upcoming season of The Bachelorette has been scrapped following an explosive controversy. Season 22 was filmed and ready to air before TMZ released a disturbing video. It showed Taylor Frankie Paul, who was the Bachelorette, slapping and grabbing her ex-husband, Dakota Mortsinger. Even worse, Paul was throwing barstool chairs at him while their 1-year-old daughter was in the crib right next to them. Paul was arrested in 2023, but was still chosen to star on the hit show, which will be shelved indefinitely. The lineup for the next season of Broadway in San Antonio has been announced and will feature many popular musicals. The Sound of Music, Wicked, and The Phantom of the Opera will be returning to the Majestic Theater years after previously running. Mrs. Doubtfire, The Great Gatsby, Death Becomes Her, and more will make their debut in the theater as well. The Historic Theater has offered its audience a chance to see classic shows for years and is expecting high ticket sales with this slate. That's all for this week, Jays. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at ECT40 for all the latest updates on our show. I'm Lexi Benninger.
And I'm Rosena Campana. Have a great week, and remember to take flight, Etown!